Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Stagflation Friday. How is everyone doing? Hey, 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 waka, waka. Yeah, Josh, CPI not good indeed. Good morning, Brian. Welcome. Thank you for being here. A waka, waka. Short everything. Short my wife, short my kids, short my life, short my shorts. Waka shorten everything. Anissa, good morning. And she is driving, so probably be a little quieter. Good morning, Patrick. I wonder if we finally going to hit my 10-8 or we're going to rip and hoodwink everyone. Well, we'll see. There is a potential double bottom in the Nas. So good morning, team. Waka Waka. Crazy hot inflation. Yeah, those numbers were not good, but maybe Bob will find a silver lining in all this. Will this be Black Friday? No, that's only it wasn't Thanksgiving yesterday. Only a recession can save us now. I'm going with cargo shorts, walking out with Kathy Wood's computer screen, stapler, and a couple books off the shelf. Oh boy, the stapler is that a reference to Office Space? Good, good CPI news this morning. How is that good? Hello, everyone. Will the market survive today? The market will survive. We'll all survive. Good morning, Sashi. Good morning, Sterling. Hey, Ellie. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the other names. And the person good at pronouncing stuff is Bob. We don't even need to do the subscribe thing today. Let's just bring on Bob. There's Bob. I said hi to everybody. So oh, well, next week. So remember, it's quad witching next Friday. Tons of option stuff next Friday. So that's going to get interesting. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Look at these wonderful inflation numbers. Bob, fill us in.
Yeah, so the only bright side that I saw in this number was that core inflation has fallen 3 consecutive months. That's it. The year over year number. But that's literally it, the month over month. Actually, let me look at the month over month for the last 3 months. I didn't look at that because everybody looks at the year over year when we're looking at this. Month. Let's see what it looks like on a month over month basis. No, it's up the last 2 months the same amount. Prior month it was, so it's 0.6. Last month it was 0.6. And then the prior month it was 0.3. So it rose month over month, but year over year it declined the last 3 months. And that's the only silver lining for whoever was looking for lower inflation in this particular one. I'm honestly surprised that equities are not lower on the future side of things. And we may see that off the open. We don't know. Sometimes there are, like, I'll give you a good example. Carl Icahn, right? Famous active investor, doesn't trade futures. And I only know this because some of my friends from the CME sat him down and were like, how come you don't hedge in futures? We'll show you how to use these. He's like, I just never have, and I don't have any interest in it. So it'd be the kind of thing if somebody like a Carl Icahn were considering selling off of this news, he would wait for the cash open. So just goes to show you there are some big guys that are not moving the futures around.
I did not know that. Example. I learned something new today.
He does not use futures.
Well, so Wavy, make limit downs great again.
Yeah, so this is honestly why I hesitated to say what I thought might happen today fundamentally, because I was wrong. And I certainly hope I stressed enough I don't want anyone putting on a trade based on what I think might happen. I do think we'll get an underperformance in CPI coming up, but I still think that it won't necessarily matter. So, these are bad numbers. They're really bad numbers.
George wants to know if we're taking on Path Trading Junior Partners. He wants to rant. He wants to rant.
I really wish we could turn the microphone on here. I really do.
Do we think silver futures will move in step with the market today? They're down. I mean, gold and silver are down a bit. It's getting into sell everything except it's sell everything except a dollar. Good morning, options 22. We didn't coordinate shirt colors today, Bob. You didn't get the memo.
No.
Oh
Yes.
well. Coco thinks we are doomed. The 100-year bull market's over. Ray Dalio
Well, it was
says
over already, Tony.
stagflation paying will force central banks into U-turn on rate hikes. U-turn. I mean, is the Fed going to change with this number? I mean, are they going to change anything for? Are they going to go 75 basis points next week, or are they just going to keep steering the course and letting this take stronger hold? What's your thing, Bob?
Say that again. I was just
Is
responding to
is
my
is the Fed going to do any course of action change, especially with next
no,
week, or anything? Or are they just going to let this get more sort of ingrained in hope for
no.
their?
That idiot Scott Wapner just posted. So 75 is on the table. It's not. I don't think it is. It's probably going to be priced into the CME group. I bet it's already moved. The CME's Fed Watch tool is probably already moved. But no, I don't think they'll do 75. I really don't. Um, Stocks are going to get hit enough off of just the concept of that. And that's why somebody like Scott Wapner from CNC is just a complete idiot. He's one of my least liked of all of the commentators out there because he does this all the time. He's never traded. He's a reporter. And he's an idiot. He says stupid things to his own investment committee that they call it. You're not seeing my air quotes.
I saw your article.
Investment committee. Um, he's just so 75 is on the table. Yeah, based off of a number that outperformed by 2/10. It's basically slightly higher than expectations. It's not like it went from 8% expectations to 16 real. I mean, he's just a moron. Um, yeah, so this is just bad, and this is of course why this particular administration, again, I think the Trump administration would have done the same thing, are putting it on the Fed. Um, Yeah, that's my whole take on it. And yields really jumped. I got to update my yields thing here because like the 2 year especially really jumped. Let me look
The two
where I
years
had it.
up. Here's the 2 year yields. Look at that.
I had the 2 year at a 286 yield prior to the number, and right now I'm showing it at a 294,
We're two ninety three
295.
seven, 293.5. Yep.
That's a pretty big jump. The 5 year was at 309. It's at 314. The 10 year was at 304. It's at 306. So it's mostly jumping in the short end of the curve. The 30 year actually fell. The 30 year was at 315. It went to 314.
Yeah, I saw that. The
So that
30-year
tells
was
you,
down a bit.
yeah, that actually tells you that the market is predicting either a recession or that the Fed's actions are going to work. I lean toward the recession camp of it. So
I don't see how you can't lean towards the recession. I mean, this is
I know.
brutal inflation. This is going to take its
Right.
toll. Here's your
Horrible.
10 twos. Here's your 10 twos triggering that double. Are we going back to zero? So,
Yes, I do think it's going to invert. Look at the fives tens. Do you have the five tens?
yeah, hold on. No,
Five
it's
tens
here. It's this
prior
one.
to
It's
the
this one.
number was
There it
negative
is.
five.
There's the
It
five
was negative
tens.
five prior to the number. What is it now?
We're at negative 0.078.
Yeah, so it's basically -8. It was -5 before the number.
It was actually even today. It's gone from what was the high today, negative 0.02 to
Mhm.
negative 0.082 right now. That's a huge
Yeah,
move.
yeah,
Wow,
that's a big move.
that is a big move. What about the 10? The 10 threes aren't doing much at all. So, yeah, interesting. So back to where else we're sitting. I mean, the S&P. It's going to be interesting. S&P hit the full double target and holding there into the open.
Yeah,
So no reversal pattern yet, just some waning momentum going in the open, but nothing that I consider tradable. The only interesting thing to me is this is a very sloppy double still on the Nasdaq. So if we did get a pop into the open, that's the only thing to the upside just yet. The Nasdaq did not get to its third target yet, which is 12,000 essentially.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be really watching again where it closes today, because if it closes below the 62.5%, that means we should retest the low area from prior, which is that's coming in about 12,036. The Dow the Dow has hit first, second targets. The next target down is about 31,660, and that's the key closing area also. And if S&P, since there's no great pausing area, the only next major target I have is this 3,900. I have to wait for a little more price action off the open to get the next legs down. But if we had to have a higher target, let's just see. Let's just try to guess where it would be based off the most recent swing. Uh, we're roughly at 39.27, and then look, we got that major cluster now at the 75 at this 39.06. So those are the next two targets I'll have to use off the open. What else? Crude is just sitting here at, working off its overbought condition by sitting here sideways. Gold not doing much at all, a little sell off and then a bounce back. Silver tried to dip and confirmed this horribly sloppy double, but still trading above that. I wouldn't act on it unless we got a close below it. Rate hype pause is dead.
Yes. Also, a real quick comment. Part of the way somebody asked us about yen yesterday. Yen's up 0.25% right now against the dollar. That's flight to safety. And also, really quick, what you're seeing right now is recession because you're seeing crude oil slightly negative. Crude oil has kind of a mind of its own. And you're seeing copper way down another 1.3%. Copper had a very important rally yesterday
It did.
after having dropped. Wait a minute, not copper, natural gas. So scratch that. Copper has been very negative, and that's a recession story. I hate the nickname Dr. Copper. It drives me insane. So there's the rally off the lows um, yesterday
That's when
that we saw.
natural gas is
That's
turning.
yeah. The copper. I hate the nickname Dr. Copper. I really do, but it is really an economic sort of barometer. And copper falling the way it's been falling lately and breaking through its rotation zone and not holding up after a first cross. This shows you that the reaction right now is a recession reaction, not an inflation is going to work against. The Fed is going to work against inflation. Um, Dr. Michael talked about possibly CPI being leaked, and where is the SEC on that? I don't know that it was leaked to the markets. I do think the White House gets it, though. I've always thought that. I've always thought the White House
Is
gets
that why they
important numbers.
warned earlier this week that it's going to be bad?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't look. Their economists are not very good, obviously. So I think it's more about that.
Sterling asked Bob, did you keep your RBOB position you put on a few weeks ago?
No, I actually got stopped out of it the day after I put it on, and then it rallied from there. So, and that's the problem with some of these futures contracts, which is why the micro crude options are so great, because my RBOB position, I put it on sort of in a short term fashion, which I don't really like to do, simply because a longer term trade would have outstripped my risk. So I'm not allowed to do that. So I put on a shorter term position. Even if I would have kept it sterling, I would have been out at a profit like 2 days later. But with micro crude in the future side of things, I can put on much longer positions, which is something I like to do. I like for my positions, instead of being from here to here, stop and target, I like them to be like this. And then my stop can be far away, my target can be far away, my position size can be a lot smaller. So that's what you could do with the micros. So I stay away from RBOB for the most part. I just like the pattern.
Good morning, Dr. Michael. Waka Waka. Tesla going to 580. Where's Tesla? Is going to have a nice gap down today? 700. By the way, Tesla canceled 3 hiring events in China. It's going to get interesting with Tesla coming up. Uh, any other thoughts before any other things you want to talk about, Bob?
No, I'm good.
All
That's
right.
all I had. So
even if the Fed were to tighten even more substantially, that still wouldn't have an effect on essential commodity prices like food, grain, oil, etc., would it?
Nope. Nope, you're correct. They're hoping for trickle down demand destruction. Or I should say trickle up. This is the thing. Everybody believes that, well, I shouldn't say everybody. There's a lot of people that don't believe trickle down economics works. It actually does. But they believe that trickle up rate hikes works. So in other words, you stop buying shirts at Walmart because you're paying so much for gas, and that slows Walmart. They fire people. People go to work less. They pay less for gas and commodities. It's a nightmare. That's why stagflation is such a nightmare.
So, all right. Well, we will let you, Bob. Where's the bottom, Bob?
No clue, dude.
I'll.
I predicted down 43% on the NASDAQ last year in December. I had a reason for predicting that I don't remember why right now. But I predicted a down 43% move in 2022. I also predicted that it wouldn't begin until the second quarter, so I was dead wrong on that, just for the record.
All right.
Again,
Well,
we're better at targets than we are at time frames. Got to go.
all right. Thanks for being here, Bob.
See you guys later.
Hey, everybody. Little small mic again. Thank you, Dr. Michael. So now I'll be keeping an eye just with this little double off the S&P, but that's only for a short-term bounce. It's going to get interesting. We could remember we're still in major gamma mode, so we can get some very interesting potential whipsaw moves today. But also based off these momentum bars, I just wanted to see where everything lines up. If it does bounce off the open, again, everything's going to be here. That double would only take us back to the 50% from this momentum sell-off, right in front of the 50%, which would be then an area I'd watch for the next rollover move. Where do we sit? This is if you don't have something good or aren't very nimble, I would personally sit on hands. Again, all these targets have been hit on there. We have clearer targets for the NASDAQ because it's still off the open. We start going through about 1236, 1240, 12,000's very key, and then about 11,960 are the next two, and then the next major one would be about 11,850. Dow, we also have targets to the downside of 31,655, and then below that I'd have to do projections. So that's really everything going off. Let me peek back at Tesla because I'll have to see if you get any bounce. There could be that little short-term gap play, but I'd really focus on the gap to that 50% and a possible rollover if the NASDAQ's weak. Remember, your key area on a closing basis should Tesla sell off and hard today is about 685. You close below there, then statistically we should test this low area about 640, about 642 to the 625 area. So that was a clear head and shoulders on the NASDAQ. Which time you got to put in time frames. There's no head and shoulders here. At least you got to put in. Remember, you got to put in time frames, else I can't jump to it real quick. And on larger time frames, it wasn't. That's not a head and shoulders. That's just a breakdown play from a sloppy double. Daily. It was still based off this spike high. It was it qualifies for a double, not a head and shoulders with all my work. But the targets would be nearly the same. So we still had those double targets. We still have the remaining target to go. All right, gonna be an interesting trading day. So that's where we sit. Again, I will be back. If anything major happens, I'll pop on at lunchtime with any updates or any target level updates. And if nothing major happens or we're just in a choppy back and forth day and all the major moves have been out of the way, then I'll just wrap it up this afternoon. Oh, any numbers for the Qs? Numbers for the Qs. Uh, I mean, Qs are now back below, and that was. I'm going to just throw on the aggressive targets to get us the next number, and it's essentially 292.38. We're right there. So we break down below that. My next area for the Qs is 288.78. And on any snapback rally, the net major level would be 297.20 area. Other than that, you have to do your short-term projections. And I need the data open and get some pausing areas in here. So those would be your bigger levels on the Qs. And remember, for a closing basis, 293.10. If we close below 293.10, it invalidates this double bottom. And then we'd be targeting 284.60 to 280 over the next week or so. Coco thinks there'll be a 5% drop today. That would be super interesting. So there's your levels on the Qs and the spiders. The major level on the spiders for the closing basis is about 394. You close below there, then that warrants more downside next week. So that will be interesting. The intermediate targets, if the sell-off continues, 389.75. And on a bounce play, it would be back to about 397.40 to 399. All right. That's where we sit. I will talk to everyone later. You are welcome. Again, everybody, trade safely. Don't force anything. And again, we're negative gamma, but you could still see whipsaw moves both ways. So it could be highly volatile. With that, thank you for being here, and I'll talk to everyone later today. Bye for now.